Rakeem, how do you feel like you did today? What were some of the things you maybe were happy with? And do you have any numbers you could share with us from today?
No, sir, I did not get any of the numbers, but there's some. Only thing I really struggled with today was, I think, broad jump. Everything else was really smooth. I killed the position drills, caught out the backfield, even in the slot. So it went really well today for me.
Scotty?
Rakeem, I'm wondering if you could maybe sum up your football journey to this point. Like, it's been an up and down ride at times, but now you're prepping for the draft.
Uh, ask me that again.
Yeah, just kind of sum up your football journey, and I mean, I guess up until this point, now you're getting ready for the draft.
Well, as y'all know, I had, my senior year, I had some ups and downs. You know how that went, and so right after that situation, it wasn't really no situation. It was just like, hey, Rakeem, you gotta, gotta get healthy. I was dinged up the whole season, just trying to be a tough ass and go out there. And then after that, I think my roommate got COVID, and I didn't even have COVID, and I had to miss games, so I wasn't too fond of that. So that's when I decided, hey, let's go get ready for the pros. You know what I mean? Let's not waste time right here, just, laying in the bed, let's go get ready for the pros. So I ended up, doing that and talking to the coach like that. Like I said, everyone here, no bad blood, none of that. We all still have the same connections as we did as the year before, or, you know what I mean? So everyone's still on track. No bad blood. Just to clear that.
And so,
Hey. Sorry, Scotty. Go ahead, Scotty.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess just some of the points of emphasis in your training. I guess since the season ended for you.
I was down in Exos in Frisco, Texas. We worked on 40 stance, shuttle, just basically getting healthy like a regular combine program, and they did a lot of things well. You know what I mean? They took really good care of us, and had us healthy and ready for today, honestly.
Nate?
Rakeem, did any of the pro scouts asking you about opting out, or do they pretty well understand your situation?
I mean, not to be like, not to be kind of cocky, but you already, you already know what I did already. I could have left before. So it was kind of like, hey, man, you know what was going on through the season. I had these injuries, and that was that. Am I healthy now? Yes. So that's kind of some of those deals. People just trying to really see if I'm healthy. That's only been a concern, is me being healthy. You know what I mean?
So your health now, you feel you're 100%?
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Trey Biddy?
Rakeem, you mentioned your roommate had got COVID. And you were going to miss some games. Was that at the end when you decided to opt out? So you were going to miss games whether you'd stayed or not?
Right. And I mean, some games got pushed back, but that wasn't kind of really more of my deal. I kind of already made the decision, and I ran with it. So, and that was that. No one had no bad blood. Like I said, I came up here yesterday, talked to Pitt, talked to Coach Browse, talked to my coach this morning, Jimmy. I still get texts from Jimmy. You know what I mean? And Coach Davis, that's my dude right there, Coach Davis. Like I said, all those guys, they kind of knew the deal. That I wasn't really healthy. That injury really took a toll on me that season. So we're all in good hands.
How difficult was that for you? Were you able to still be around the team and watching, I guess, games on television at times?
It was tough, because I built a relationship with guys on that team that, that would never be broken. You know what I mean? Like Felipe or Traylon Smith or anyone. You know what I mean? It's just like me and Traylon Smith, both from Houston. You know what I mean? We go way back. I had no hard feelings, or you know what I mean? Like all those guys were dudes at the end of the day. And it was just it was hard on me, like, dang man, I should be out there with them. But, you gotta also say, hey, I got these problems going on. You gotta, it's your family, or you know what I mean. So you gotta pick two, and you gotta pick one. Can't pick two. Can't do two things at once. So that's kind of what I was going through at that point, just kind of weighing out my options and seeing what's what, talking to people. And, you know what I mean? I got the best advice.
Tom.
So it sounds like, Rakeem, all in all, despite the up and down season, you don't regret coming back for your senior year. And was there a point, like the A&M game, you had 100 yards, a point that you felt like it would all get back together and you could overcome the injury and finish out strong?
Yes, sir. But, I was still banged up at A&M, still doing that, you know what I mean? And so, my mindset, they've always told y'all, I play with a rotator and a labrum, you know what I mean? And I tried to do that, and it didn't go so well, you know what I mean? So, and like I said, the whole thing was totally fine, I think. It was just tough on me not coming back to my team, and the COVID year. I could have probably got an extra year. And it was talks like that, and wear and tear on your body at running back gets kind of old.
So what was your November and December like? Is that when you started working out? At what point?
I started to get healthy at the end, and then that's when I went to my facility, trying to figure out what's wrong. How can I fix this or this and that?
Best of luck to you, Rakeem. Thanks, man.
All right, let me know if you've got questions in the chat or raise your hand. Rod, if you'll introduce yourself and your affiliation, please.
Hey, Rakeem, this is Rod Walker with the Times-Picayune in New Orleans. And I wanted to ask you something about just New Orleans. I know I guess you were born here. When did you leave? Do you have family still here?
My whole family's from there. And my whole family lives there, but my mom lives in Houston with my one sister and two brothers. And they're the only one that live in Houston. And the rest of my family lives in New Orleans.
So when did you actually leave?
Hurricane Katrina.
You left. Okay, you left out. Okay.
Good.
What do you kind of remember about that?
Just, man, we were struggling, you know what I mean? And didn't have much, coming to Houston and kind of starting back over again, starting life over again with no money, no car, no anything. So, my mom had to really get it as a single parent. So it was tough, but I think that's what made me who I am today.
Do you ever get back to New Orleans at all?
Yes, sir. I mean, I have times where I go down there and might see some family, but not when I'm playing football. It's kind of hard.
Porter?
Rakeem, you'd mentioned earlier about you felt like you'd done enough at the University of Arkansas, when it comes to being a pro. Do you think that made your decision easier, opting out, and that you didn't feel like you had to play injured to move up in the draft?
Right. I mean, people know what I can do healthy. Y'all saw fall camp, y'all, stuff like that. And really, not to be cocky or anything, I was a 1,000-yard back, so I done felt like, and the year before I almost hit 1,000 yards. So I was kind of like, I already showed that I had enough film that I could step up for that level. I was ready for that level already. Even when I came back, I was still ready. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I was figuring out. And one of the things going into it, I was like, I'm a 1,000-yard back. You know what I mean? And that came into play, and I ran with it.
Jason, if you'll introduce yourself and your affiliation, please.
Hey, Rakeem. Jason Butt with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Where do you feel you stack up with this year's running back class in the draft, and what are teams getting, or what would you tell teams that they are getting if they draft you?
They're getting a guy that can, break away for 80 yards at any moment. You know what I mean? And there's teams out there that, might say this and that, but at the end of the day, you can click on the film and go watch me run the football for, 80 yards or 10 yards and see the difference. You know what I mean? I'm still the same person I was the year before, the year after. My senior year, I just got a little injured. But I'm a lot of candidates for a lot of teams. at the running back position.
Amos, if you'll introduce yourself and your affiliation, please.
Yeah, Amos Morale with WWL Radio in New Orleans. You mentioned having a lot of family here. Just curious, have they been kind of in your ear a lot or asking you a lot about the Saints and if you've heard from them or anything like that?
Yes, sir. I mean, my mom every day, you know, my grandma will call, she'll be like, oh, did the Saints call or did they call? And you know how that goes. You know, my whole family from New Orleans, and I have Creoles in my family and things like that. So we just kind of like, man, it's whatever team they pick you. I'm ready to go play, and, you know, whatever. That's kind of what I tell them. I'm ready to go play with any team that, you know, pick me. I'm, you know, 100%.
Appreciate it.
Rod?
Yeah, okay. I want to ask you about, you know, just kind of going through Katrina and going to Independence, Last Chance U and all that. How grateful are you just to be, you know, where you are, to be even sitting here today?
It was actually, I posted it on my little Snapchat yesterday. I said, man, before I came up here, I said, after all the stuff I done been through, my senior year, you got the A&M, the JUCO, and man, it's a blessing to be, you know, able to do what I love and do that to my best ability. You know what I mean? And I just, you know, I thank the man above for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just helping me keep going, keep going, keep going. Because obviously, you could ask anybody. You could turn to your kid. Anybody know? I've been fighting for so long. You know what I mean? To get to this point, and I'm finally here. It's just, you know, a blessing to be at this point, really. Because some people don't really get this opportunity to go showcase their skills and show what they, you know what I mean? So it's a blessing to be in this position I'm in today.
How'd you get here?
Hard work. You know, since I was little, I had football in my hand. You know what I mean? The day I got kicked out of A&M, I had a training session that day for about 2 hours, 3 hours, just crying. You know what I mean? And thinking like I'm being able to think like, hey, I can't go to this school no more, or can't do this. That was going through my head. So, you know, I'm up there crying, training the whole time, about 2 hours. Foot drills with my trainer, Rakeem, out of Houston. We working on footwork drills the whole time. Working on running back drills. I'm crying the whole time. I can't even, you know, I'm sweating. I ain't even tired no more. I couldn't get tired. You know what I mean? That was kind of the whole story behind that. Like I worked so hard to get, you know, even here out of JUCO. I had to go sit a year, basically inside a jail cell, I felt like. So, you know, you're not getting the right lunch, you're getting cafeteria food like you was in middle school again. Stuff like that. And, you know, I ended up, you know, putting my head down and working and getting to this point still.
Was being on the documentary on Last Chance U, did that help you a lot? You feel like what did you kind of gain from that, I guess?
I also gained a lot from that. You know, people know me out the blue, man. I'll be in the line, just hanging out. They'll be like, oh, this is this guy from Last Chance U, you know what I mean? But really, you know, when most people say that and they talk to me about it, they say, man, you really make me want to go achieve my goals. You know what I mean? I really make people go out and do the things they never thought of doing. You know what I mean? Because you could quit right now. You know what I mean? You can quit at any moment. You know what I mean? But it's the mindset behind it. Like, it's the mindset. No matter if you get tired, you got this going on, you got that going on, you still got to do it at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's kind of it.
And my last thing I want to ask you about, do you know what part of New Orleans y'all grew up in?
The 7th Ward.
7th Ward, okay.
My brother grew up in the 7th Ward, and I was at Lakeland Hospital, I think, something like that. And I lived in the 9th Ward in the east in Littlewood. So I was born in the east, me and my little brother. And that's 9th Ward.
Nick, if you'll introduce yourself and your affiliation, please.
Hello, Game Nick Faribault, Pittsburgh Sports Now. I was wondering, you had that strong 2019, a little bit of a down year in 2020. Is there something that you saw on tape, or was it just really that injury that you think held you back? Or is there something you're looking to really, really improve upon once you get into that offseason program, once you get into training camp, and really once you get in an NFL training regimen?
I mean, I bet you couldn't get to our fall camp files, but that's nothing to, talk about. But I mean, these guys will tell you. The people closest to me, they know like why I didn't have that season. So at the end of the day, people know like this kid was banged up. This kid, because obviously if I was healthy, it would have been a totally different thing. You saw 19 when I was healthy for 2 years, 18 and 19. So I came into my senior season. You know what I mean? I was already banged up coming into the season already, just because of the COVID year, how that was going. And so it was a lot going on. It was really time for me to step up and go get paid. So that's how I felt.
And then I just wanted to ask, have you had any contact with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No, sir.
All right. Thanks, Rakeem.
Hutch?
Yeah, just super quick, Rakeem. You talked about all the injuries you were dealing with. Could you remind us kind of what the injuries were that you dealt with this year?
I suffered a bone bruise, Mississippi State, second game of the season after Georgia, and missed Auburn and tried to hurry up and come back, and I still wasn't ready. And it was lingering.
I appreciate it, Rakeem.
All right, that'll wrap us up with Rakeem. Rakeem, thanks for the time.